Peace and love. Welcome back to the Joy Workshop. Week what? 7?
Week 7. We've been here for 7 weeks. This is so awesome and amazing. You guys are literally like family now. That's how I feel. So I want to join you guys. Welcome you guys again. I'm breathing to get you prepared for today. And to prepare myself. Lord knows I need some breath work.
Yeah. I think we all can use it right now with all the chaos that's going on in the world. Like, just to be in the moment, to appreciate the breath, something that we don't show much appreciation for. So I'm very excited about today's presenter.
Yes.
Expert.
I'm just like you.
We always have to go over a few house rules or a little information before we introduce our speaker. So we'll quickly go over that information. Once again, thank you for joining us. I know that people will be rolling in as we continue this, but we are going to go ahead and get started.
Oh, yeah, man. That's beautiful. So I can begin?
No, not yet. Oh, he's ready.
Okay. No. You let me know. I can review my notes a little bit more, so you keep on doing your thing. But how y'all doing today? How y'all feeling?
We are doing so good. We're so glad to have you here. We're so good.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to get on earlier. I just want to make sure I finished up my outline, like just kind of reviewed it. So I was like, okay, getting it right. But I'm grateful to be here. And I was like, man, I was telling Mike before, we got to connect more, because I think now with the way things are, the digital space is making like borders like connected so easily. So it's just seeing how we could spread these messages a lot deeper though.
I can't wait to connect more.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and get out of his way. We're gonna go ahead and show you our little preliminary information because I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm see how deep we're gonna go today. What space we're gonna take.
Did I share a screen?
Thanks for being patient with us. We're getting it together.
All right, can you guys see? Perfect. Again, week 7 of the 12 weeks.
For those of you who don't know, Shantice and I have been traveling on a 50-state tour, raising awareness for mental health in efforts to reduce the suicide rate in the United States. We've been to 17 states so far, and with all that's going on, we're virtual like everyone else. It's like the new norm.
Doing everything that we can to still provide whatever we can to the mass majority of people. You never know who you're reaching when you're doing what you're doing, and so that's the reason that we will never stop doing what we're doing, whether we're physically on the ground or whether we're virtual. We're going to be there. So
let's set the mood.
Yes, please.
Thank you for choosing you today. No matter what your day has been like in the past, you have taken the time to activate joy factors right now, today. For that, you should be applauded. Be prepared to take the next however long you take to actively engage in various methods of stress reduction. Each activity, exercise, and all property presented was created by Humanity 360 and is based on personal experience only. Grab your utensils and a few sheets of paper. Remember, this is strictly about you and finding ways to connect with your true highest self.
True, highest, authentic, all of those selves. No, we're really excited about today's guest. We really got an opportunity to connect with them last July.
That's crazy.
In Asbury Park. I can't believe it's been that long.
Almost a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, time is flying.
Oh my gosh. And we were so overjoyed with even the information that we were hearing about the organization before we even met them. So literally everywhere we went in the town, they were like, you guys need to meet Rod and Michael. You need to meet them. You need to meet them now. You need to meet them kids. I'm calling them. Like everywhere we went, every different circle, they were saying the exact same thing about this wonderful organization. And all of the work that they've done in Asbury Park. I can't wait to allow him to spill. I'm so excited that I'm jumping ahead. Look. So just to remind you guys, we are recording this. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. Utilize the chat if you can. We strongly encourage everyone to do their own research. We are not physicians. We only share what personally has worked for us. And breathing is definitely one of those things. So we're going to jump into the workshop with our facilitator, Brother Rob Kids. We'll have an open discussion afterwards, and then we'll invite you to next week's workshop, which will be Herbal Enthusiasm. We'll be focusing on herbs and how they can impact your life positively.
Holistically, wellness. And thank you to Black Coffee Company for allowing us to use their platform. Again, like if you don't know Black Coffee Company, you need to be plugged in. Very powerful platform of entrepreneurs that just want to see all of us win, like all of us. You too.
Yeah, super grateful for their connection and our partnership with them. Thank you, Black Coffee Company. Check them out, guys. Whew.
Ooh wee.
Just
I
breathe.
see y'all be on that Canva. I see y'all. That Canva. I see. I know no Canva touch. That's beautiful, man. It's crazy how we get all these tools to make our lives a lot easier in doing this nonprofit work. So, wholeness and love, beautiful people. Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's on you, brother Rod. I was just
yes.
listen. You need no introduction. You're so awesome and amazing. Your energy is so vibrant. I'm so excited to have you here. Please take the floor, man.
And that's what I say. More than anything, more than information I share, try to harness the energy that is coming from my heart, because inside of that, it will begin to help you expand more than just this moment. So real brief about myself, not to get too deep. I'm a co-founder of a nonprofit organization called Conscious Youth Development and Service. It's a nonprofit that we founded about 6 years ago. It's kind of like a reflection of what's going on today. Like me and Brother Mike were like, we don't want to just talk about the issues or what's taking place. We've seen the cycles that keep people in the same patterns. And we're like, what can we build? And that's going to help our community, help our society evolve into a higher stage of their existence. And that's what Founded Kids. We were on our own personal journey. You know, I say unplugging from the matrix and starting to recognizing ways to better care for myself, and was reading a lot of things. I was like, man, why is all this happening? And then I was just like, let me just work on me. Started eating better, started letting go of certain foods, you know, started to fast within my mind, letting go of certain things I was consuming mentally, from music to TV and just conversations and people. And then I spent more time just connecting to my heart. And I realized I had a lot of pain, you know, it was masked through certain characteristics. Oh, I could lift weights, I play football, but deep inside at the core, I realized it was something that was not completely whole. But through tools of breath work, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, it opened up a new awareness within me that allowed for me to continue to transform and recognize who I am at a deeper level. And that is my goal, to impart that wisdom upon anyone that's listening today, because there's something that's taking place in the world that is making things feel very heavy. But for those folks who have been doing the internal work and balancing it, it doesn't feel that heavy, you know, and it's just giving that experience for us all to learn to become a little bit lighter. So, with that being said,
I will be taking notes, Brother Ross. So you'll see.
Oh yeah. And I got a lot of resources I can share too afterwards, but it's gonna kind of get some essence more. And so my intention is to provide you with the knowledge and experience that will help you cultivate a deeper awareness of yourself. You know, because in this time we're in right now, I have to know who I am on the deepest level. And as you begin to see the walls of illusion fade outside externally, you have to realize what walls have to fade with inside of me, you know, and that's my idea of my ego, the idea of who I think I am. I have to begin to question that to begin to experience a true realization. And that's something I can't tell you, I can't preach to you, but I have to experience by going inward and constantly beginning to know, who am I? And then the second part is more of the basic foundation, is how to use your breath as a therapeutic tool for transformation, personal growth, healing, and for those, a connection to a higher power. You know, I could just learn to get self-regulated and learn how to be relaxed and calm and focused to work at an optimal level. Or for those folks who have a spiritual or religious practice, I can use this breath to form a deeper connection to whatever I label that higher power is. And there's no wrong way. Every individual could benefit from this space. So my agreement is be open-minded. That's number one. These ideas, like I said, don't believe anything I say. Experience it. We're going to do it ourselves. You know, research it yourself and begin to find out what that truth is for you. Also, number one, be here. On a computer, one thing I recognize is always tempting to just go onto your phone or just go into another window. But the more I can give all my awareness into this space, it forms a deeper connection where I can take in this information a lot more clear. So, and the last one is give your best effort, you know, doing the best you can, but giving it a try, the tools and techniques that we're going to share. So if that is cool, man, give a little smile, a little thumbs up. I'll take that. You know what I mean? There we go. Yeah. So here we go. If you got a chat box, you got a keyboard next to you, man, I just want to know, what was something that interested you about taking today's workshop? You know, 30 seconds or less. I'm gonna see if someone pop up. But what interested you, and for Humanity 360 for creating this topic? I know Mike said you reached out for a while. And then for those who are on call, if you could pull up your chat, what was interesting that made like, you know what, I want to try this one out? You know, thing going once, 30 seconds.
We'll go first.
Yeah. And you can type it in. You don't got to say it verbally. You can type it in too. But what you got, I'll let y'all, since y'all my hostess. I have enjoyed all of them so far.
So definitely, you all were definitely an inspiration to the Shantice and I, a reflection that we want to embody as well. So definitely, I'm here because I love y'all and everything that you embody, but also I want to learn and dive deeper into breath work.
Okay, good.
I think for myself personally, being able to, it's like knowing the techniques is not always enough, but being able to incorporate them into your everyday life and making it a habit of being conscious about breathing, especially in times of doubt. I want to, get better at that.
Oh yeah, and I think that is going to be perfect. And even when y'all speaking earlier, since things are virtual, I would love to invite you guys to any trainings that we hold for our staff. I would love to invite you guys because the more that we can all tap into this information, that will help us grow exponentially. It only support us. And now that we're digital, that makes things a lot more realistic. And we do a lot of training and development that will help support anybody in any space or organization. So I'm going to extend that out. We'll talk more about that afterwards. Yeah. So I want to learn about as many tools as I can so I can use them to help myself in the future. I'm going to say not in the future, in the present moment. So let's make it happen. Good. So a little quick tidbit. I got this from a fictional book, but it was speaking about something that's very real and happening now. This time we're living in right now was marked on every individual's calendar. All of our ancestors, from the Mayans, the Toltec, even the Kemetics, the Taoists, they all knew for some reason that this time, this alignment is going to be a very important time in human history. And as you begin to look around you, you see something unfolding. It's a time of great uncertainty. But the beautiful thing about uncertainty means that anything is possible. You know, possibilities are infinite because we can end up in any direction. And what direction I end up in is all upon my awareness and my volition and conscious control to direct my energy into that space. Now, in this fictional book I was reading, it was speaking about an age of Aquarius, which in reality is a very real space that's we're moving in. And they said, if you want to know what's happening in reality, don't look at what man's telling you, look at what the stars are telling you. And it was just guiding this character on this journey of finding himself and moving through a fearful and scary time. And I was like, man, whoever wrote this book had a lot more insight on what was taking place right now than a lot of us can think. And I'm seeing it happen right now. And it's like, man, what is the world telling me? Things are falling apart. But I know when my life fell apart individually, it gave me opportunity to rise into something greater after that time moved on. And that's what something I want us to focus on, is really seeing there's a lot going on in the world. People are waking up to the system of oppression, the idea of the white supremacy and culture, but now it's an opportunity for us to really become aware and heal from that. And the tool that's going to get us there, I know without a doubt, is going to be my breath. If I'm angry and I'm raged from having all this oppression inside of me and anger and frustration, I have to learn to regulate myself, because that energy of anger will only get me so far. And if I'm on the other side, if I'm in denial, it feels very shocking, intense to feel that, whoa, I never knew that this is what this really was about. I need to use my breath to help me become regulated, because if I have that energy, it's going to put me in a space of fear. So when we use our breath, we have to begin to see it that it's a tool for awareness and conscious control. And that's the first space that we want to be able to get into, is that self-regulation. But before I do that, I'm going to skip my brain energizer. We got to do a little simple technique that's going to combine our breath and also sound to help activate our brain state. And more specifically, there's a pituitary gland in the center of our brain. And this is what they will call your master gland. And when the pituitary gland is in a balanced state, it helps all the other glands in your system secrete the hormones in order for you to live a balanced, healthy, and stable life. This technique, we're going to take a nice steady breath in, but we're going to make a humming sound with our lips closed. And this humming sound is going to create a vibration. The two focuses here is on the feeling you get in the sound of the vibration and focusing your mind and attention on the sound. What this does is it makes it difficult for it to be in the past or the future. And it also begins to stimulate the pituitary gland to send a signal to the rest of your body to stimulate healing, to stimulate relaxation and growth. So it's very simple, but it's a brain energizer because it helps me focus and get clear. We're just going to do this 3 times. We're going to inhale deeply through our nose. And I'm going to do an example. It's going to sound like, My focus is on the sensation that it creates. and the sound that it's making. And when the mind shifts away, I'm just going to bring it back. So you can lay back comfortably. You can sit down for a quick moment. And this is just to get our brain energized so that we could be a little bit more clear in our practice. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Lips closed, hum it out. Can I let go of the world around me? Let's take a deep breath in. Hold it here. Hum it out. Inhale deep. Hold the breath here. Try to feel the body. Hum it out as loud as you feel. And just pause here. Relax completely. Notice what you can feel. Any sensation that dominates, bring your focus there, maybe around the head, the neck. Become aware of the space inside your mind, maybe how clear or cloudy it is, how fast or slow. And just briefly feel the space within your heart. Maybe the breath moving, maybe the sensation. And just gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Take a moment to reflect. What did I notice in that experience? What thoughts maybe came up? What awareness arose within me? And that's just a little quick technique to allow ourselves to be centered, because the mind is always moving. So many thoughts are constantly jibber jabbering, but it's like a chisel that's drilling a hole of pure stillness and awareness. And when I get there, it's very difficult for anger and anxiety to exist. So I do that when I wake up in the morning. I do that when I put my son to sleep. I do that when my mind gets a little bit frustrated or clouded from doing too much work. And folks be like, why are you humming? I'm like, how about you give it a try and you'll see why I'm humming, and that's the real beauty. But now the brain's a little bit more alert. So I'm not gonna go too deeply on the age of Aquarius, but my challenge for you is to Google Yogi Bhajan, Age of Aquarius. He is a teacher that's been speaking about the times that we are experiencing right now. And you'll be like, he might have been living here, but he gives solutions to transition people out of their lower nature back into the hearts so that we could begin to see the deeper solutions. And that's kind of the blueprint or framework that I operate from in this journey of bringing people together. So to begin, I'm just going to briefly bring in to explain what the breath is, and I got this from a book called Just Breathe by Dan Brule. It's a great book. If you ever want to find a technique about learning breath work, he takes a lot of information from different groups and puts it together. I'll type his name in the chat box, but I think the knowledge is power. Just Breathe. I have the book right next to me, but I don't have the cover with it though. But definitely a book that you want to get your hands on if you want to learn more about the power of your breath and how to utilize it, okay? And from his breakdown, he calls breath a therapeutic tool because it has the ability to transform so many different aspects of your being from a physical level. You begin to see how as I breathe deeper, the blood can flow. I can have the oxygen to remove the toxins inside my body, the waste, the carbon monoxide, and I'm releasing more. But when I'm not breathing fully, all that toxic waste gets stuck inside my body. So that's purifying all your major organs. That's making all your system operate. So when I just breathe properly, folks see 30 to 40% increase in their health immediately just by their breath. Because if I know for a doubt, a lot of folks who take a lot of medications, you watch their breathing. I'm like, man, you're only making things worse. But just by shifting your breathing from your chest to your diaphragm, you will see a major transformation in your overall well-being because the circulation of life is moving through you. The vitality is moving through you. Now, he breaks down yogic breathing or conscious breathing as consciously breathing in an optimal state that allows my body, mind, and spirit to rest in a state of balance while allowing me to maintain stability and a connection with something greater, you know. And the power of using our breath consciously is a tool that we have to begin to awaken to. But there's also a tool that we could use to support us is when we just listen and watch our breathing. Whenever I meet anybody, the first thing I do is when I see them is I look at how they're breathing, because that gives me a direct connection to what emotional state that they are in. Because every emotion I have, every breath every emotion has a specific breathing pattern. So if I ask you if I'm angry and you to think about, you start breathing a very specific way. If I'm feeling joyful or blissful, it's just like the breath is just so soft and smooth. It's like almost it doesn't exist, but it's just like a pillow gently laying on top of me. If I'm anxious, if I'm nervous, it's like I'm squeezing, I'm choking my breath. If I'm scared. So the more I'm able to associate the breathing pattern with the specific emotion, it gives me a direct awareness of where I'm at. Because I can ask you how I'm feeling. I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm like, man, okay, you know, that's what you want to say. I'm not going to tell you how you feeling, but your breathing showing me something different. Like my students, oh, I watch the body. Man, their veins popping. Why are their veins? Like some kids just look jacked all the time, right? Because they're always clenching their fists. They're always clenching their biceps. So they're getting like this natural workout. And when you see them out in the tank top, it's like, yo, their muscles is out. And it's just like, but that person is just carrying a lot of aggression too. You know, there's a certain build of the body and the physique when it's not tense and stressed, but it still has that same power. And it's just seeing that these subtle ways, things of awareness, you can recognize, but just bringing it back to the breath, that gives me a plan. So I know how to approach you. I might say a sarcastic joke. I might not say a joke. I see you breathing a little faster, a little cut. I see it's nice and smooth. Okay, I know you're a little bit more relaxed and open. But my first thing is I had to experience this within myself, is sitting and recognizing the breathing patterns and the emotional states. So what we're going to do is a very simple exercise, okay? We're going to begin to sit back, relax, observe our breath, but I'm going to insert specific emotions, and we're going to bring ourselves back, not into like when it's the more heavy emotions, don't go to your darkest moment, you know what I'm saying? But bring up one that will help trigger that emotion, that you can feel it internally, and you'll see how that breathing pattern arises and falls, okay? So it's gonna be about like 5 to 7 minutes. I recommend, this is not like a deep yoga sitting up in a chair with my spine straight. You can lean back against your chair. You can lay down on the floor. I just want you to be comfortable, because all we're doing is developing the basic foundation, because you can do a lot with our breath, but if we don't have a solid foundation, all those powerful techniques and pranayama and breathing fast is only going to make the mind become more scattered if I don't develop a proper foundation to really channel the higher energies that will come in once I get into that path of breathing and breath work. So finding a space, relax, sit back, wherever you are. And the most important thing we're here going to do is explore the different emotions and see how they show up. We're going to watch the breath too. We're also going to feel the heart, because when that breath becomes conscious, when I'm aware of it, it builds a bridge back to your heart center. And that is something that is sometimes could be unsettling, but that unsettling, I tell you, is a beautiful experience and feeling, because if I can embrace that unsettling or uncomfortability, that's where I grow the most. If it's always comfortable and easy, I'm telling you, it may be great, but you're not going to expand yourself. But whenever you get those moments of a feeling or emotion that arises, my job is to become a moment of just stepping back and observing it without trying to judge it or dialogue. So without that matter, let's go sit back, relax, find the space that's comfortable for you. Make sure we're trying to relax our body as much as we can completely. Let your shoulders melt, let your legs relax. Think about a stick of butter on a pan just melting away. And if you feel comfortable, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. That is optional, but that way we eliminate all the distraction around us. But if you don't feel that way, you could keep your eyelids a little bit heavier, allowing your gaze to go to the tip of your nose or the ground. And once you found that space, just begin to notice the physical body. We just have to get grounded. And this is the easiest way to bring our mind out of the thinking and back into the present moment. Notice your tailbone, notice your back, notice your shoulders, notice your head, notice your neck. Feel your feet against the ground. And the thoughts may be coming up. Our job is doing our best to not attach to them, not to judge them. I can label them briefly just to get the mind to create separation, but even let go of the labels. It's a positive thought, negative thought. Is it the present, past, future? But this label is just a way to extend a little bit of space, but eventually just try to watch them. Feel the feet against the ground. And then now bring your awareness to the rhythm of your breath and just ask yourself, how do I know I'm breathing? What is the physical sensation that connects me to my breath? And as the mind processes that, really connect. As that inhale comes in, what do I notice? Does my chest expand? Do my rib cage? Do I feel my stomach move a little bit more? And as I exhale, notice how that breath leaves. And it's going to be a challenge. The mind is going to want to move all over the place, depending on how my week, how my day has been. But even if it's for half a second, keep bringing your mind back to the natural rhythm of your breath. There we go. And just listen. What kind of sound is my breath making? If this was a musical instrument, is it harmonious? Is it flowing? Does it sound a little bit stuck, a little out of harmony? Do I breathe through my nose or through my mouth? Noticing the benefits, the filtration of nostril breathing as more toxins from the air and the environment enter in through the mouth. Now notice the rhythm. Am I breathing in fast? Am I breathing in slow? Because the rhythm says a lot, right? Fast breathing, faster heart rate. I'm not taking in as much oxygen as I can, causing more stress on the body. But even as I watch my breath, I notice, is it slowing down a bit? And thoughts are going to come up. My mind is going to move. That's normal. My job is, can I control my awareness and direct it back to my breath with compassion, without judgment? And I do this over and over again. That's the deeper lesson. But now we're going to begin to see how this breath shows up. We're going to share a few emotions, and I ask for us to bring up a memory, an experience, or just a feeling. And then we're going to observe, to learn, and to cultivate a deeper awareness so I can know what's happening within me. We're going to begin. I'm just going to start off. Think about a time where you were excited. You know, it could be this past week, past month, past year. See the memory, see the space, see the people, the sound, the noise, the colors, the details. But more importantly, the feeling, the excitement. What happened? Really explore that world like you're there right now. Feel it come up within your body, moving through your bones and your muscle. And then begin to observe that breath. What qualities can I connect with? What sound? What feeling? How smooth? How fast? Let's take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Pause here. Notice the presence in the body from head to toe, toe to head. And now we're going to move into the opposite polarity. Frustration. When was the last time I felt frustrated? What happened? What took place? What did I notice? What did I feel inside my body? My bones, my heart. And then begin to notice the rhythm of that breath. Notice any heaviness. Do I stop breathing? Or am I able to keep it stable? Let's take a deep breath in. Hold it this time. Sigh it out. And again, pause here. Bring your awareness inward. Just feel what is arising within you. And we're going to bring up another emotion. Happiness, joy. What memories of happiness, of joy have happened in my life recently or from any time? Who was there? What was taking place? What was I doing? What did the room smell like? What sounds did I hear? What feelings did I connect to? And let that joy move into your heart, that happiness fill up your heart. And then watch your breathing. What happens in your breath now? What's the rhythm? What's the pace? What's the sound? How deep can I dissolve my awareness into this breath? Let's inhale deeply. Sigh it out. And again, come back to the essence, your body, your mind, your heart, just what is happening for me in this experience, the thoughts, the feelings. And now we're going to move into anxiety, stress. As soon as I hear that word, notice what shows up physically. Any discomfort that arises, any tightness, any clenching. Relax those spaces. But think about a time you felt a little anxious, a little frustrated. What was happening? What was said? How was the mind moving? Go as deep as you feel comfortably. And then just watch the breath. Not judging the experience or situation, but simply just watching it on the television screen. How is my breath showing up now? What knowledge and information can I gather here? Observe it, feel it, don't push it away. Let this energy flow through you. Let's take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Pausing once again. And we're going to end here on a higher polarity. I call it balance space. We're going to embody and invoke the feeling of love. Maybe a person, someone close to you, a loved one, a partner that really invokes the feeling of love within you. It could be a family member, a friend. It could be a place. It could be a time, an experience, a moment. Whatever you choose, see as much of the detail as you can. See what brings that love to your heart. Feel it in the body, the bones. Feel it in your heart, in your soul. And then watch your breath. What does love show up here? What is the rhythm? What is the pace? Now put a smile on your face. Send that smile right down to your heart. Let's take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Deep breath in. Sigh it out. One more. Inhale. Hold here. Feel the body. Notice the heart. As slow as you can. Sigh it out. There we go. Begin to gently wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your jaw. Just take a moment just to reflect, What did I notice about this experience? What did I take away? You can begin to softly, slowly open up those eyes. And just feeling the experience more than just thinking about it. Let the energy communicate to you. We don't have to use our mind for everything. You know, our intuition is access when we access the plane of feeling, opposed to trying to use our mind to figure out everything. So go into the body, those tinglies, those little soft sensations. That is an intelligence trying to move through you. They're like, yo, why ain't they listening? I'm right here. I'm right here. All right. So that is very key, you know, and I'm going to ask humanity. I just want to kind of use you as like a little talk show host, kind of get a little back and forth. What were the three biggest things, you could probably pick one or two each, that stood out for you in that experience based upon whatever came up for you? See, I'm still in that deep space though. I'm sorry.
So I thought it is so crazy because I always have these preconceived notions before I do things, right? And that's just the way my brain operates. And so in the very beginning, I said to myself in my brain, I'm gonna breathe the same each time. That's what I said to myself, right? And so as we changed emotions, it was technically the same, but there were like very small things that I noticed that differentiated the breaths. And so for anxiety in particular, they were hard stops. Instead of the slow breathing on the exhale, it was a very hard stop. There was no lagging on. And then at the end, I didn't really quite hear the emotion, but for some reason I went to sadness and death.
Okay.
And that produced a more of a, it was inconsistent. So as I'm able to always count my, I'm able to always count my breaths, and it's always the same. That's why I said it's gonna be the same. But this time it was like 2 breaths here, 4 breaths there, 3 breaths here, 2 breaths. It was so choppy. So that's something that I was noticing.
And that is the orchestra, the conductor, that is putting the rhythm to, and that leads to a certain state of thought, that leads to a certain state of emotion, and then I'll let you go on. But thank you. That's a great awareness right there. And that's the key, is those subtle nuances that bring you into a even deeper awareness of what you have already built on from your current practice and foundation. Yes. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
What you got, girl?
Sure. In the beginning, it was hard for me to like get my eyes closed. I have a hard time like sleeping, so it took me a while to like really relax and get into my body. But once I got in, the breath was very deep and released. But the trigger, I didn't hear what you said either, but I figured it was something like, when was the last time you was mad? And I had experienced that today, and I went there and I felt like it was a short, like a cat went on. So I inhale, and then the cat, and then it was like I was trying to control the breath. It was like I was trying to control it in a sense, but it was shorter than all the other ones. All the other ones, I was like free and very relaxing, and I can gauge what type of energy I have been in for the past couple of days, because I've been like in high energy, like in a good place. But earlier today, it was like that's something that ruffled my feathers. So yes, thank you for the self-awareness.
Oh, yeah. And that's the beauty, like every person goes their own unique experience through the same exact practice, you know, and we could all be doing the same stretch, the same breathing exercise, but the world that's opened up for me is not going to be the world that's opened up for you. And that is the beauty of these techniques, because it gives us what it is that I have to experience. And something I challenge you to do in all your activities. I'm washing the dishes. I know that's when my breath gets a little bit tight. Like, 'cause I ain't trying to wash no dishes. I'm not trying to be in the kitchen, but and I see how that breath creates the state of emotion and action that makes me not want to wash the dishes. But when I just start to take a couple of conscious breaths, I go into the more relaxed, regulated state where it makes that chore less, because I'm not thinking about how burdensome or how many more dishes I have to do. I'm just bringing it back and erasing that thought and just being here. And I'm just watching the dishes, enjoying my audiobook, and it's like, okay, I have to clean my room and fold my laundry. It's like, man, you'll see your breath will change in those spaces too. So when I see my breathing pattern in a conscious level, because conscious breathing is not something I can do all day. I'll say out of a 24-hour day, I probably breathe 30% of the day consciously, and that's probably way more than the average individual who takes a conscious breath. But if I begin to learn how to watch my breath throughout the day as well, I can see how these little emotions show up in many experiences. When I meet somebody new, I notice I get my anxiety breath, because it's like, okay, how do I present myself? How do I talk? You know, and as soon as I get that feeling, I can consciously then begin to change my breath into a breathing pattern that brings me into a space where I know I show up as my best self. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Sorry about the noises in the background. That's why.
Oh, I don't hear nothing. I was like, is my sound okay? It's like,
no,
anybody else not hearing me?
No,
I was like,
I don't know what it is, but I want to apologize to everyone for that. What you're saying just now, it makes me think about when a kid doesn't want to do something and they like blow their breath really hard.
The breath will never lie. And the more you can learn it within you, you'll see it all over the reality. Going to the food side, like anywhere you go, it's like, wow, I know it because I saw it within me. That's why this is such an important foundation, is can I watch my breath? When I go into the shower and that warm water hits your body, that breath is just like, and it's like a melting space. Or I take cold showers and it's like someone just squeezes the life out of me. But I watch that, but then I see how that shows up in different spaces. And what do? I know I can watch my breath. That's the beauty of it. But I can also consciously control my breath. And this is the second part that we're going to move into. But it's an ebb and flow between the two. I can't just conscious breathe all day. I have to learn how to use my breath observation. And I'm just talking about emotion. But beyond the emotion, it brings you to see your mind even clearer. Just by watching your breath, it's like your thoughts are getting louder. You know, the images are getting even clearer because you're giving yourself the time to focus and concentrate on what is really happening, because we're going through a day-to-day. I'm thinking about this task. I got to be here. I got to go there. I got to do this work. So my mind is never able to really just sit still and just sift through and see what is happening. So when I take that time to watch my breath, I begin to let my mind process and then begin to prune away things that don't really need to be there no more. Or I begin to accept or to capture those great ideas that are lingering at the top of the surface, but it's like a messy closet. You can't find that one shirt that you really want to wear because you got all your clothes that's all over the place around it. And it's just seeing how the same things within ourselves, because we all have these divine and powerful ideas. But once we develop the ability to grab them, okay, then we can bring them down. That's just part of the step. We got to build a vessel then to create those ideas into reality. But you can see it's a limitless flow of awareness that we can open ourselves up to just by watching our breath. So that's the key. Because I notice a lot of my younger folks, they're very brilliant, and I'm proud of them. They're teaching me. But that's the younger generation. They're not giving people the foundation. They're just bringing you to the highest level of the elevator, which can be powerful. But folks who have trauma or have been through traumatic experiences, you can cause more damage if you don't know how to neutralize those energies. And working in Asbury Park High School in the school district, we work with kids with a lot of trauma. And it has taught me greatly how to develop and show these tools and techniques and not expose an individual to a space that they don't have the container to deal with that emotional state that they have been through in their life journey. Because the breath is very powerful, but at the same time, it could be very, not gonna say dangerous, but if you don't have the proper awareness of how this tool can be used for you. And I'm gonna show us a simple technique that we can carry with us that's multi-layered of depth to support our individual growth. So I'm just gonna talk about one last thing. You know, I apologize, I speak very fast, I get very excited. I have a lot of notes. I do a breath workshop every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. It's free to community. If you have to give a donation, it's beautiful, but I'm not trying to exclude anybody. And it's a way to just constantly see how this tool of our breath is used as a therapeutic activity to transform us on all levels. And I just kind of bring up the many different topics that can support you in expanding your breath. And one that I always connect to is the conscious control and why it's important. Just real quickly, we have two parts of our autonomic nervous systems, our parasympathetic nervous system and our sympathetic nervous system. So just a simple way, when you hear sympathetic, that S, that means stress. And when you see parasympathetic, that P, that means peace. So when I'm in the parasympathetic state, that's more in the relaxed state. You know, my eyes are constricted, my body relaxes, my heart slows down, my digestive system is able to remove the waste of food. You know, the adrenaline is not being pumped, so my kidneys can function at a higher level. But when I'm in that sympathetic state, which is not a negative thing. You know, if I'm playing football, if I'm playing basketball, if I'm going to the club to dance, you know, I'm going to be in that aroused state. It's putting stress on my body. Stress is not a bad thing. Stress, working out, builds strength. when it's done with rest and stress in a proper accord. But we live in a society where folks are always in that sympathetic state, and they're never in that parasympathetic state at all. And that is the biggest issue, where the eyes get dilated, you know, you constrict the airways, your heart is, so my airways constricted, but my heart is pumping faster. So it's pushing toxic blood at an accelerated rate all throughout your system, inhibits digestion. I ain't releasing my food, the toxins from my stomach, but people think pooping is the best way to release toxins. Your airways release 70% of the toxins. Your respiratory system removes 70% of the toxins in your body is through breathing, you know? So when you realize that if I'm not breathing correctly, I'm allowing a lot of toxins to be in my system. And that's what keeps the stress state alive, along with the food that we eat, the TV that we watch, the news that we watch, and the people we have around us. These can keep us in that sympathetic state where I'm always feeling triggered. And there's two ways to test that. What I do when I'm in the classroom with kids, I don't tell them anything. I talk about normally. I take a big notebook. I kind of just drop it against the ground, and you just see who jumps in their seat, you know? And that is a way to show, like, man, they're always on edge. Some folks who are grounded, they just are steady. You know, it's like, or they are desensitized. There's one of the two labels of that space. But also what you can do is through the breath observation. If I am in my parasympathetic state, I'm only breathing about 5 to 6 times per minute. That is the rhythm of breath, you know? So if that's 5 to 6 times, I'm inhaling for 5, maybe holding for a second, I'm exhaling for 5. That's at a regular conscious level. But when I'm in a sympathetic state, my breath ranges from about 10, 20 plus times per minute. So when we sit, we're gonna do this next thing, we're gonna observe our breath, and we're gonna go into a rhythm of breathing that's gonna help us regulate it, but we're gonna see how many times am I breathing in a minute. And it's not good or bad, you know, it's supposed to be healthy. Nervous system regulation is oscillating between sympathetic and parasympathetic state. Like when I first started doing yoga and meditation, I just stopped playing football. I stopped working out as much, and I was just pure yinned out, just breath, but that's not a balanced state. I wasn't able to bring these ideas into physical creation because I didn't have that fire churning. But once I started working out physically, going back to CrossFit, that gave me that healthy balance of having that sympathetic state and that parasympathetic state. But some of us, our workouts are arguing with our friends, our family, you know, causing drama on social media or getting into conflict. So seeing how we begin to consciously take back the way to strengthen this body so that we can operate at our greatest capacity. So sympathetic state is not negative, but a lot of us, we dominate sympathetic state. So a lot of these techniques that I teach are geared to bringing you into a deeper parasympathetic state, just because I know the makeup society is always in that high. It could be their job, it could be their family that they have to just take care of. It's not always a negative reason why you're in that state, but the physical chemicals that you release when you're in that space, long-term produce effects like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, stroke, heart disease. So when you see the list, you realize, okay, I have to make sure I take care of me so I can be a better version of me for those around me. And that's the real challenge. So I'm going to finish off with this final technique where we're going to consciously breathe, but it's just a foundation. It's going to be building on utilizing our complete diaphragm going into our rib cage. I'm going to put my camera down a little bit, see all my notebooks more so. But I call this the rib breath, but we're going to use our diaphragm breath, expanding our belly, and then we're going to rise that breath into our rib cage. And to support our awareness on that, we're going to use what I call our crab hand. So this one, you have to kind of sit up a little straighter just for the purposes of being able to have the proper posture for the technique. Sometimes sitting at the edge of your chair will be a little bit better. That spine being a little bit nice and straight, your pelvic floor tilted a little bit forward. We're going to take my thumb, put it on the back of my rib cage, my forefinger on the front of my rib cage. And what we're going to do here is we're going to breathe in from our belly, and we're going to feel the rib cage expand out in all 4 directions. When I exhale, it's going to collapse back down. I call this the elevator door. I inhale, you're going to watch it spread out nice and wide. And when I exhale, it's going to close back down. And it may not be like that. I breathe every day. I've been breathing for like the past 7 years. And it's just, as you gradually just cartilage around the rib cage, it expands, it becomes more flexible. So it takes time, but as long as I'm just building the effort and the awareness, it's gonna get there, okay? So we're not gonna focus on counting the breath through the time purposes, but we're just gonna go right into the technique. We're gonna do 10 rounds, okay? We're gonna breathe in for 5, hold for 1, breathe out for 5. Now, if breathing in for 5, it can't get there, that's okay. Try to breathe in for 3 or 4, but see if you can hold your breath for a little bit longer, maybe 1 or 2, so that you can still have the same rhythm of 5 to 6 breaths per minute. Because sometimes 5 seconds could be a pretty strong breath if I don't breathe all the time. But if 5 seconds is fine, stick with the 5 count. We're gonna do 5 together, and you're gonna finish the final 5 on your own, as I'm gonna direct you to use the ability to direct how the oxygen is moving energetically through your body into our hearts, okay? So finding your comfortable position, having your feet against the ground, get your crab hands ready. And if you have someone that needs that connection, you could put your hands a little bit tighter around the body just to get that physical sensation to keep part of your mind anchored and have your awareness connected inward. If you feel comfortable, I would invite you to close your eyes or halfway closed, tip of the nose or staring at the ground. Just keep the head and neck nice and tall. Feel the hands against the body. Maybe give a little squeeze to this note, 1 finger at a time, pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb, all fingers. Feel the connection. Feel your feet against the ground. Maybe wiggle your toes. Maybe press the feet. Feel the calves and thighs get strong, then relax them. And our goal is to breathe in from our belly to expand the rib cage, okay? Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause here, feel the expansion. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly to ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause here. Exhale out the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here, deeper and slower. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause here. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here. Feel the body and the rhythm of the breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause here. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here. Continue this rhythm here. Inhaling, seeing if that ribcage can expand out a little bit wider. The goal is to do the best you can. Now, to deepen the experience, there's a life-giving property in each breath that we inhale. As you begin to inhale deeply and fully, I want you to imagine a light entering in from the crown of your head, sweeping down to the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, see this light moving up from your toes to the crown of your head, moving back and forth, inhaling belly to ribs, light moving through the crown down to your toes. And as you exhale, visualize to the best of your ability, this light moving out the legs, up the torso, the arms, the neck, the head. And this is to keep the mind focused, but also to direct the energy that is awakening within you. And just a few more rounds here. And the mind may veer off, thoughts may arise, and that's okay, but this is a space for feeling and connecting. We'll think afterwards. And again, try to deepen that breath. Try to expand the rib cage even wider, because the more I practice this technique, when my breath happens unconsciously, it begins to be naturally deeper and fuller, allowing this state of relaxation to be a natural part of my being. Continue to visualize, see, and feel that light moving down the crown of your head, down your shoulders, down your chest, your back, your hips, your legs, your toes. And as you exhale, rising up the legs, up the thighs, the back, the abs, the chest, the neck, the head. And wherever you are, let's go through one last round together here. Let's inhale as deep and full as you can, expanding those ribs in all 4 directions. We're going to hold here, this time for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you exhale, imagine all the energy within your heart spreading into every corner of the room, oozing out of every pore of your body. Hold the breath at the bottom for 3, 2, 1. Allow your breathing to be natural. Allow the hands to relax. And this is one of the most important parts, is to let your awareness dissolve itself into the energy, into the feeling and sensation that is arising within you in this moment. The essence, the lightness. Thoughts will be there, but you choose to direct your awareness into the energy, the light. And ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who do I pretend to be? What mask do I put on? Do I keep on? Do I take off? And who do I desire to be? What does the highest version of myself look like? What is the next stage of me? What does that look like? How does that feel? What do I see? What am I doing? What do I got to let go of? And let's take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Begin to gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Put a smile on your face. Send that smile right down to your heart. We can amplify the field of energy by just giving positive words. We're going to close off by sharing this silently inside your mind. I am love. I am peace. I am happy. I am free. When you are ready, begin to gently open your eyes, bring your awareness back into the space, but even pause here too. Allow yourself to feel the essence of this moment. There we go. And realize the vitality moving through me. You know, a teacher once told me, if I don't feel those life-giving properties flowing through my body, then I'm not connected to who I truly am. And I never understood what he really meant until I started developing a deeper practice. And I know that whenever that life-giving property or vitality is not flowing through me, if I don't feel that sensation of aliveness, I'm not connected to my true self. I'm stuck in this ego, in this vessel, you know, and then the goal is just to be aware. But that's why these simple practices will awaken you on higher levels. And I was that person. I wanted to know everything. I still read a lot, but I understood to get to the top, you have to learn 1 + 1 before you learn the trigonometry and all that other stuff. So that's what I wanted to come here and share with everyone here today who is listening, is this breath, this time we're moving through right now. For my people of the BIPOC community and my people who are from the white community, we have to use this tool to be the bridge that unifies us. But first, there's some work that has to be done. But anger and denial will never transform us into the next stage of our awareness. And I know if we learn to breathe, this journey will be a whole lot easier. So if you have any questions, you know what I mean, before I take this down, I kind of did my own little remix though, but I think this was very necessary. But any questions that you may have, any comments, I'll be more than happy to hear.
Can you reiterate one more time the science behind placing the thumbs and the fingers over the rib cage?
Oh, the science, well, that is just to give you an awareness. A lot of kids have no connection to their physical body. So like how you stated earlier, I could have done another technique to help you settle in more just by you sharing that information with me, that we just have to create that solidity. So I was just having us touch on our body, just say you could bring your mind into the physical sensation. Because whenever I feel anything physical, that is my attention in the present moment. It'll be 40%, 50%, 70%, 100%. When I feel my body, I am here right now. I worked in a group home with a few students who went through trauma. And one of the first things when they would have like an outbreak or a tantrum or just an episode is I saw the counselor on my first day on the job. She just did a body scan, but she doesn't meditate or do yoga, but she's like, that's one of the techniques. I was like, wow, okay, I knew it was powerful, but this is one of her go-to techniques to deal with a kid that was having a traumatic episode, was getting him back into the body. So any opportunity you could connect to physical sensation when you're doing any practice, you're bringing people's mind back into the body. Even if you're teaching a lesson, what did that feel like? You know, what did you notice in your body? I'm bringing mindfulness in the experience without even having to be like, hey, let's ring a bell and breathe.
That's right.
Because I'm directing your consciousness in a way that's going to help you become more present and aware of what's taking place right now.
Woo! That was beautiful. I'm on cloud 9 right now.
I know you have to get out of here.
But 8 p.m.s, man, on Wednesdays, yes. Every Wednesday, man, we be rocking out, you know, Brother Ra _44 on Instagram. I know everyone may not have social media, but you find the link someplace on EventCom, but I can send it to y'all. But especially for y'all, man, it's just getting these tools, because once I harness that, my gift, we all have a uniqueness. What you're destined to do has a very divine form that exists, but I have to create that space within me so that environment can blossom what my gift is supposed to be in this world. And once we all have the blueprint and framework, man, okay, I see your greatness, you see my greatness. And it's like the Power Rangers, that machine that comes together, and we just build something phenomenal. So that's my gift to the world. And I know it comes back through energy in different forms. That this is a new age we're moving into, and I'm going to make sure I do what I can to plant the right seeds, the balance seeds to support everything. So
lucky to have y'all, ladies, like you, man, like that we can turn to. Honestly, like this is a tribe, and like you said, we have to be collective in order to make this work. But we got work to do on ourselves first.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's where it all starts, man. That's my climb up the mountain. I'm showing that direction, but you have your unique purpose. They have their unique purpose, but we have to be able to serve. They called it Ma'at. You could not be in any position of power in a certain time of Kemet if you didn't have Ma'at within your heart. And that's the deepest level of balance and consciousness and awareness. And we don't have that in our system. There is no structure that aims for the character and morals of the soul. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I gotta hop up out of here.
Much.
Oh yeah, we'll be in contact.
Can you send us the info for tonight? And we'll try to send it out to people as well.
Perfect. All right.
I'll send it out to you. Thank you so much. We love you.
Love you too, man. Have a beautiful day.
All right, you too. Peace.
Take care.
Eric, we didn't say you could leave.
Well, I'm not leaving.
Cousin Rod's leaving.
To come out of him.
No, we're just joking. We are gonna close out. You know, this is one of those things where you don't want to add too much to it, right? You gotta let that stuff sink in.
Yeah, it was
all that
very
breath
deep.
work and breathing. So we'll close out with our normal closeout material.
I really hope everyone was able to take all of that in for us to, you know, be more present in our bodies, something that we don't really pay a lot of attention to. So this is breathing is definitely a great tool. I love breath work. It has been the anchor to journeying into myself. So
it's crazy that I don't even realize how we've just been practicing it so much. I don't even realize how much I do incorporate it. I know that was one of my goals, to incorporate it more, but I've never realized how much I do actually incorporate it.
We met a guy in I'll say it really quickly. We met a guy in Rhode Island, and like every breath that he took, you can tell it was like a conscious breath. Like in between speaking, he'll take a deep breath and then exhale. And you would think someone would be like, come on, just do it already. But no, it helps you remember to breathe. So as we consciously breathe, we'll be allowing other people to consciously breathe with us as well. Wow. I think this is my favorite. I think this is my favorite workshop thus far.
Whew, I'm still breathing.
When all other tools fail or are too much, just breathe. As we practice gratitude daily, let's not forget the one thing that is always there for us. Never fails us.
Never. I mean, a lot of things come and go, but this here,
yeah,
this is forever. So grateful for this breath. Grateful for you guys. Grateful for your energy. And really hopeful that you guys were able to take something tangible away from here. Next week.
I'm excited. Herb, your enthusiasm. We have an expert that's going to be coming with super knowledge. Like, she's like an encyclopedia when it comes to herbs. I'm really excited to see what we will learn from her.
Bring
next
your
week.
Questions.
Yes.
Bring your whatever you've been dealing with and looking for some holistic substitutes or alternatives. Please come here. She's good. I mean, this is like this next level doctor stuff. Next level though. The next level after doctor.
Like Brother Ra was saying, how breathing is like, this is the era where like we need it more now than ever. Herbs is one of those things too, because a lot of people were scared to go to the hospital.
Scared to go to the hospital, scared the medication that we're receiving, not knowing what's really in it, not knowing the side effects of these medications. I think it's about time that we gain some foundational knowledge about alternatives and not thinking that this system and the things that they offer us is the end all and be all. Just exploring, not necessarily saying that you have to take these tactics, but just being knowledgeable can help you make a better informed decision about your life. When you only know one thing, you're probably going to only gravitate and do one thing. So the more you know, the better decisions can be made in your life. The better. Yes, I don't think I said that right, but
we get your point.
Thanks.
Tools. Another tool. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. If you want to keep up with our journey,
please follow us on all platforms. If there's a service that you would like to request, you can request that on our website. All of our services are free, so please spread the word. We love to do this. We love to hold space for individuals. So there's no limit to what we will do as long as we are capable of doing it. So please spread the word. Bring a friend next week. Tell them how much you've been learning about our workshops and how.
Share the workshop with them. It's on YouTube. You have the link.
They're all of them from the first one to now present. It's all on our work on our YouTube channel.
Yep, and our website right on the front.
Our workshops are like, it's dwindling down. I remember the first one. I remember the first one, but we're bringing it home and we're excited to for what's next. Like Shantice and I have been working our minds to see what will be next after this. So
shoot us some ideas if you can. We can't let you guys go, that's for sure. You are now and forever a part of the Joy Tribe. I don't know whether you signed up for that or not, but welcome to the tribe. As always, we want to thank
Black Coffee,
you guys, and we also want to thank Black Coffee. I am going to drop the
Brother Roz, well, he said his handle, but
yes, I have his I'll share his information in case you wanted to contact him, as well as the evaluation and our request for service in case you want to share it with anyone.
Yes. And it's very important. I know a lot of people don't like to do surveys, but this will really help us show where we can make improvements. So please, please, please fill out a survey. Let us know where we, like, be honest with us. This is literally our life. So if we can do things to make it better, we would love to make some changes to better serve you all.
Please. Again, we love you guys. So excited. I hope to see you guys next week for our Herb Your Enthusiasm workshop. Thank you for showing up here every week for yourself. Thank you. Yourself says thank you.
Yes.
And we love you guys as always.
Peace.
Breathe easy.
Take many breaths today.
See you next week, Derica.